mind is crying out. I'm sleep deprived, been up all night, scrolling through these old texts. So one when we first met, you were like my best friend, my better half. Can I pretend that I don't miss you? Now it's like we're strangers.
Hey, what's going on, world? This is K. Williams for Ken Chronicles Media. Have another sit down this afternoon, here with the songstress KoKo Kennedy for a recap of her debut album, Kotown, The Experience by KoKo Kennedy, which dropped first quarter of 2020. Timeless music. Hence, an interview a calendar year later. 8 songs of her emotions and narration, authentic style. What's going on, KoKo Kennedy? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Nice to be able to catch back up with you. Things been busy for you these days, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to stay busy as much as possible with COVID going on, but as much as possible.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, what's the typical day in the life of KoKo Kennedy?
Well, I have a 9 to 5, so I work from home, thank God. So I work at 4 o'clock in the morning until 12:30, and I do that so I'm able to do things throughout the day. But because we're pretty much closed back down in LA, I haven't been doing too much. But I did go to Houston to do like a few radio interviews and stuff. So I'm just trying to stay busy.
Just keeping busy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Staying busy, has it been helping your craft creatively?
Yeah, it definitely has been helping my craft creatively. I'm going to re-release. So you guys heard it first here, but it's going to be the deluxe edition.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know, we gonna save that for all the supporters. We gotta express on that, because that's even new information for me.
Yeah.
Baby, I don't know, but I think you better call me.
We're gonna go ahead and jump into this. So for the new support base, where'd you grow up?
LA, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where about?
Westchester, California. So it's near Inglewood.
Mm-hmm. How was the environment growing up there?
Super chill, nice weather. I loved it. I liked growing up over there. Mm-hmm. Just me and my mom for the most part. Yep.
How was the typical family construct, typical family dynamic?
My family is very supportive, so I've been around them forever. Mostly my mom. My dad is like my best friend, so he's always been around. And I grew up with like my cousins. I have about 2 sisters, 2 brothers. So just family dynamic has always been fun.
Very healthy balance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's always a good interest. So what age did you find your interest in music?
I found my interest in music at the age of, I believe I was 5 or 6. And my uncle, my mom's brother, he used to play old school music from like the 60s in the living room. So I would sneak out of my mom's room when I was supposed to be asleep. I would sneak out and I would like, what is he playing? I just was obsessed with all the music. And I didn't really start singing or even realize that I had a voice until I was 9. So about 4 or 5 years later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty interesting age.
Yeah.
So the influence.
As a younger
Mm-hmm.
person, because I liked old stuff. Like I would say like Dramatics, the Phonics, the Supremes, the Shirelles. I mean, I could go back very far.
Old soul?
Yeah. Old soul. That's what's mostly my influences. But of course, like Sade, as I got older, Sade, Donell Jones. I mean, I listen to all types.
Early 2000s Donell Jones?
Yep.
Okay.
I listen to all types of music, honestly.
Any, so growing up, any church choir, school choir?
Yep. I was in the church choir. I started at the age of, I want to say, 14. All the way until about 19. I stayed in the church choir. Yeah.
I think you better call me today. It's been a long day.
Because I was in the church choir, it really made me be pretty much, I would say, what influenced that is, like, I like to have choir sounds in my music.
Mhm.
So, like, different
Is that where the melodies come from?
yes,
Mhm.
different melodies and stuff. I love it. So I put it in my music. Why not?
So what were the experiences like actually singing in the choir? At what age did you become a soloist in a church choir, or when did that come about?
I was very shy. I finally did my solo at 16. I sung "The Presence of the Lord is here." I was so nervous and like shy, but I kind of think that's what broke me out. Like, okay, I can do this, because it was a rush. It was like I was nervous, but then after I was like, ooh, I want to do this like more.
The adrenaline carried you over.
Yeah.
So did that adrenaline carry you to a next level at that point? Were you taking more solo acts or leads, or?
Well, it actually started before then. My sister and I, when I was 9 and she was 7, we would go to the parks and we would sing in front of everybody. So that's kind of where it really started. I just had no nervousness at 9 years old. I would just sing, and we would sing in front of people. So we would be like, we're going to start a group. So I would say after church, and then at the age of around 20, we started to form our group then, our duo.
That's an interesting dynamic when you said you and your sister, you guys used to go to the parks and sing. Were you guys doing cover songs back then?
Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige.
Who are some of your favorite artists growing up, and why?
I was obsessed with Donna Jones, of course, but I like Maxwell. Sade, I love to watch her perform, and she's just so strict and sexy and beautiful.
Timeless.
Yep. I like to watch D'Angelo perform. Of course, Michael Jackson. I mean, I was glued to him at a young age, just watching him perform. I'm literally influenced by so many people. India.Arie, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm just honestly influenced by a lot of their sounds, a lot of the R&B and the soul.
Sitting here, stuck at home, waiting on your call. Drunk enough, I don't know. I'm not sure what I did, but I know you're wrong.
So when it comes to all the people that you've mentioned, does any of those artists reflect in your music today?
I would say India.Arie, yeah. I would say maybe her, a little bit of her music, and songs from the 60s.
Okay.
Just a whole melting pot of them, like that I hear, the transitions, the writing styles. I'm just stuck on that time. So once I got comfortable within my voice, I just was like, okay, this is where you should be. I used to try to figure out how to sound modern or sound like other people. But once I stopped doing that and just went to what I really like to sound like or what I like to hear, that's when it worked for me.
And you know, it's a special dynamic that you say that, because that reflects in your live shows.
It does.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Just the ballroom feel, the tangible feel too. Like, you don't hide behind vocals in the studio, like, for sure not. This is a whole different dynamic, and your upside is, man, it's immeasurable.
Thank you.
Let's talk about Kotown, the Experience by KoKo Kennedy. What inspired the title?
A close friend of mine named Travis Crates. We were going through like the beginning process of the songs, the album. I was letting him hear it. He's like, "You're just so old school. Like, you should call because you're KoKo. You should call your album Kotown." And I just ran with it. I was like, "Okay," like Motown. So I ran with it. So I give him the credit because it was his idea, and so I just ran with it.
So when you got the title, and you were feeling it, did that reflect in any of the song titles and the actual album content?
You know what? The song title came a little later.
Okay.
Okay. So I had the ideas there, but I just was like, ooh, didn't really have a title for the album yet.
I wonder, as an artist, what comes first, the title or the actual content and the construct of the album?
You know what? I knew what I wanted to do and what I wanted it to sound like, so I just went with it, and I knew that I needed, for structural purposes, I knew that I wanted an intro, a prelude, and an outro, and I wanted them to sound similar. And I knew that I wanted it to be old school. And so when I was almost done with the EP, actually, a close friend of mine, he was like, it's amazing, but you're missing an up-tempo. So that's when I created July 26th, because it was, I can't imagine my EP without it, honestly, but it was almost like, it almost didn't have that song.
Now it's like we're strangers. I just miss the old you. Bring me back, my baby. I don't know, but I think you better call me today. I think you better call me today.
Why do you consider Kotown, the experience by KoKo Kennedy, an EP?
Because it's 8 songs. That's why. And maybe I'm shying from calling it an album. It kind of is, but I don't know. It's an EP.
I'll reserve the right to keep my opinion. I just want to know why. This is the first time I actually heard you call it an EP.
It's an EP.
Okay, fair enough.
But you know, maybe it's an album.
Right. Or not, or it's just good content.
Yeah.
Semantics. I guess it don't matter. It's just art, huh?
It's just art.
It's been an entire calendar year since the release.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the overall outcome of the album? EP, excuse me. Album.
Album EP.
Fair.
I usually, when I say album, I catch myself because I just call it an album. But, it's been a year and it went by extremely fast, and I was a little bit down on myself because I was like, what have I done this year? Although, you know, COVID hit and we've been in this pandemic, I've been a little bit hard on myself. So I'm just like, there's more I should have done. But then when I went through like the recap of 2020 and I was posting a lot, I was like, oh, I did a nice amount of things. Like, stop being so dramatic. I would say that I'm happy. I'm happy what I've accomplished for 2020 for the EP. Yeah. Of course, it could have been more. And the numbers could be better, but whatever. This year,
right.
I'm blowing up.
as long as you're happy and diligent in your craft. But when we talk about more, you have a visual. Call me today.
You better call me today. It's been a long, lonely day.
Was this your first visual ever?
With my EP, yes, but it's not my first visual ever in the entire world. But it's my first visual from the project.
And why did you choose that song?
That was the very first song that came to me for the album. So I already knew that was going to be a single. I claimed it before I even was finished with it.
So Call Me Today was the first song, that was the first single of the album?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
The second song recorded and the first song that was going to be a single.
So it was it like a nostalgic feel when you thought about creating a visual, like, oh, that was some of my earliest content. Let me go ahead and just jump into a visual and bless everybody with.
To be honest with you, I created the whole album around Call Me Today. So it was created around that song only. So when I finally got in the groove of my sound, it was Call Me Today was the very first one, and I just was like, this is it. So I just created everything around that, and always knew that was the single.
How involved were you in the actual creating process?
Of the song? Or?
The visual.
Of the visual? I was really, really hands-on. A close friend of mine by the name of Fire Whitaker, she directed the music video. Her and I had about 3 hours of Zoom FaceTime discussing my ideas. And I've always, once I was finished with the song, I already had the concept in my head. I already knew what I wanted to do, walk around with this phone everywhere. And like, you know, get on the train or first it was get on the bus. Get on the bus and just walk around with this phone everywhere. That was my idea. And so when I brought the idea to her, she's amazing because she asked me if she could direct, if I could be, you know, her first person to direct music videos, and I allowed her. She's so professional and great. So her and I collectively came up with a lot of ideas, and she came up with a lot of the awesome shots, and she helped me with acting, because she's an actor as well. So
you did a good job.
I was pretty hands-on.
Yeah, you did I was fortunate to come to the Call Me Today video premiere, so I got to see it firsthand, and it wasn't surprising seeing your actual lyrics turn into the cinematics. Wasn't surprising at all. I think you nailed it. Can we expect any other visuals in the near future?
Yep. I'll be releasing something really, really soon. Nothing on Me is next. That one is going to be released. And then July 26th.
Do you have a favorite song from the album?
I have a few favorite songs. Call Me Today, of course, that's like the stumping grounds. Keep on Loving Me, July 26th. I would say July 26th is like #1 for me. I just like am I allowed to say I like all the songs?
Absolutely.
I just like them all. They all my favorite.
Let's talk about your growth as an artist since you dropped your debut album.
More confidence, because in the process of making it, I knew that it was going to be something special, because I just felt like something come over me. I'm like, this is really, really some good work. And my friends that worked on the album, they're not just like composers, they're my close friends and family, and we actually did it together. And I would say I grew with the stage presence and just the way I sing and how I'm becoming more confident with practice. I would say I grew that way.
How about personally?
Yeah. I grew personally. I just would say being more disciplined to get things done, and I just would say I grew with just giving myself credit, because I try to do so much, but I don't sit there and be like, okay, you did all this, good job. I'm like, okay, I can do more, I need to do more, I need to do more. And I would say I grew just by just stopping and crediting myself and understanding that it's a process and just being grateful.
Call me.
So when it comes to, you know, I have to insert my opinion. When it comes to the actual project, I think it's a classic. Do you think that because there might be a large population of people who actually think it's a classic, do you feel that it might be difficult for a follow-up behind it? It's almost like, do we want to hear another Lauryn Hill album? And I know that's a tough question, but I get one of those untampered feels, like, but then your upside is so big. I know. How do you feel about it though?
Oh my goodness, that randomly just crossed my mind, like how am I supposed to upstage with that? or just, produce something to that same magnitude, because it was definitely surprising that so many men and women likes it. Because sometimes when you release something, a lot of women, we vibe together, and to get the guys to like the soul and just the feel, sometimes it's kind of difficult, but the outcome was great. It's like really great. I'm like, wow, I haven't had a negative response, and I'm like a little nervous about that. I'm nervous about it, honestly, but what I plan on doing is just using the same process that I did before, meaning just go with how I feel and pray about it. And I'm never, and especially being aligned with God, I don't steer myself in the wrong direction. So I'm just not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna try to upstage Kotown. I'm not. It might not be possible. All I'm gonna do is just create what I like and create how I feel and the vibes, and how I like the live band sound, and how I like the stacking, which is all the vocals, and how I like the choir sound. That's just me. So I'm just gonna create more of that.
Just create KoKo Kennedy's art.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna think about it, because once I do that, I'll probably drive myself crazy. If I do that, call me, call me. It's been a long.
Can we expect a project in the near future?
Yeah, I'm going to actually do a deluxe of Kotown. So you won't expect...
There we go.
You won't expect a whole new project. I'll just add a few songs to it and update one of the songs. Maybe I have, fingers crossed, have a feature by then. And add to one of the songs and have probably about 2 or 3 more songs to it. I'll change the artwork and I'll re-release it.
So when it comes to the feature vibe, what vibe are you looking for? Put the energy out there.
If Andre 3000 is around, I would like him. I would like Kendrick. I would like Jay-Z. I mean, look, I'm just calling it out there, okay? Everybody, honestly. I would like a rapper, just for a remix. But of course, I love to work with anybody.
Would this be your first time actually working with a rapper?
Yeah. This is my first time collabing. Will be my first time collabing with anyone.
That's such a special dynamic. And I think that's a part of your growth too. So when we talk about growth, how do you want your music to affect the world? Or do you?
I do. I would love my music to affect the world. I want them to be happy. I want the world to... I always say I want the world to feel high when they listen to my music. Because just you can take a step away from life and just feel good. That's what whatever you're supposed to feel, hopefully feels good. That's what I want people to hear, to feel when they listen to my music.
Up all night, scrolling through these old texts. So when we first met, you were like my best friend, my better half. Can I pretend that I don't miss you? Now it's like we're strangers. I just miss the old you. It's been a long, lonely day. Sitting here, stuck at home, waiting on your call. Drunk enough, I don't know, I don't know. I'm not sure what I did, but I know you're wrong. Telephone, call me baby. Call me. Now it's like we're strangers. I just miss the old you. Bring me back, my baby. I don't know, but I think you better call me today. I think you better call me today. I think you better call me today, today. It's been a long, lonely day. Call me.